Processing disappointment around the bar exam can be a heart-wrenching thing. So if you are receiving the news that you failed the bar exam recently, or maybe it's been a while, you probably are familiar with the feeling of disappointment to the point of not wanting to get out of bed to even go to work, or for your kids or your family. You may feel that desire to kind of hide from the world because you don't want to have to explain your mood or your bar exam results. Maybe you want to skip your workout, even though you know right now it's the best thing for you, it's what you need. Or you can even be feeling like just shutting off your thoughts with a Netflix binge and your sinful snacks. I know the feeling. You know that time heals all wounds, and this is not actually the end of your book. And you know deep down, other people, if they even care, will get over it too. But you're not so sure about you. And this is common amongst partakers who meet with disappointment around the exam. Because failing the bar exam often presents this gnawing, insidious, questioning thought of what if it's me? What if there's something wrong with me? What if I'm just not enough? I mean, what else could it be? I'm the one taking the exam. It is me, right? But you don't want to go down that train of thought because it's depressing, right? And it could derail you even further. It feels bad. So you want to shut off your brain. Get it. So then maybe you start dissecting the exam itself, right? Because that feels a little better, put the spotlight on the exam. But invariably, you come to this point where you start to remember things that you did do and chide yourself for doing those things, whether on the exam or when you were studying. You remember things that you didn't do and chide yourself for not doing those things. And oh, I should have done that. Maybe that could have led to a different result. But that all seems pointless too, because when you really think about it, you have no idea if it would have made a difference. And so bar takers who have been disappointed around the bar exam honestly don't have a place to really start to properly examine this past attempt and to really pull together a solid plan to move forward. So most of our takers stay lost or just regroup and go back to studying again and taking it again without getting any real answers as to what went wrong and what they should do instead. So if you are a bar taker who has been disappointed by what has transpired on the bar exam, if that title, that phrase fits or seems to fit with you, you seem to identify with that right now, then I've just got a couple of thoughts that might help, right? Because we know time heals all wounds. And right now is probably not even the best time to think about the bar exam itself, but to really just refocus on you, right? And I know that many of us want this healed right now, right? We want it healed right now. We want to feel better right now. In fact, we wish that this wound was never inflicted, despite the fact that time heals all wounds. We wish we never had this wound because it hurts and it's disappointing. And it looks like the only options are to either drown in the disappointment or box it up and bury it and move on with your life because people are waiting for you, your boss is waiting on you, you still have life to live, the world has not stopped turning just because you failed the bar. But I'm gonna share with you why it feels personal to have failed the bar exam, what you can do with all those feelings that threaten to emotionally cripple you and keep you from moving on with your day, and how you can avoid repeating the same fate all over again. So if you identify with what I've stated so far, then this part is going to help you a lot. Now, you may have read that the bar and your results don't define you, and I get that. Hearing it and knowing it are two totally different things. Many people have gotten to your place where you are now, having graduated from law school and taken the bar exam. You're used to some level of accomplishment. And with accomplishment comes people's praise, recognition, some responsibility, some leniency. Maybe your parents let up on you when you were younger, some reward, support. Maybe people start to prioritize you more. In one way or another, you receive some gratification for your accomplishment, and it feels good, and you want more. That's the usual way. We want more of what feels good. So your ego, we call it the ego, the survival part of our mechanism that makes sure that we're not only fed and clothed and housed, but also that we're loved and respected and accepted. This part of your brain says, oh, if we accomplish, we'll get this. So let's accomplish more. And soon your life becomes a series of accomplishments, with one accomplishment never being enough, never being the end, always needing a next accomplishment, because it's become the way that you receive, all the positive reinforcement that you have now been conditioned to receive. What ends up happening is we lose sight of why we're even selecting certain goals and going after them. So you may go for the bar exam just because it's a natural, normal part of this whole process that you started when you took the LSAT, right? The other end of the bookend is the bar exam. But you've lost sight of what you're doing it all for. And what happens when that sight is lost is that we become wrapped up in what we're doing. And this goal, this accomplishment becomes our identity. So it's not surprising when, if you meet with disappointment and you don't pass the bar exam, it hits very personally. It feels personal because, in fact, it has become your identity. A lot of us, a lot of bar takers, a lot of lawyer types who go through this process of almost automatic accomplishment, because accomplishing has become your identity, take it deeply personally when one of their endeavors fails. And so that's why right now, if you are disappointed around the bar exam, it might be feeling so painful, right? In the world of disappointment, whether it's a breakup or failing the bar exam, the only way to truly feel better is to actually walk through the emotions, letting yourself feel the sadness, the anger, the fear, the regret, all these feelings, letting them all come up and move through you is the fastest way to feel better. Letting emotions run their course can feel scary. It can feel like the emotions will drown you, that they will keep you from functioning. And sometimes it may for a day or two, and that's okay. Or you may be afraid that the emotions will take everything out of you and leave you with nothing, no motivation, no energy, no desire to try the bar exam again. I've seen, though, where a person can go from crying today to genuinely smiling and happy tomorrow because of allowing the emotions to run their course. So in this whole process of recovering from the disappointment of failing the bar exam, letting emotions run their course is a must. So what's really happening when you fail the bar is a wide open question. And it's agonizing to find the answer to that question, right? After you've acknowledged the deep personal feelings around it, it can almost seem like you're picking at the wound by going out and seeking help to understand why you failed the bar. One, because you have to first tell people that you failed. And then you have to actually formulate the questions to ask in order to get some advice. And sometimes giving them the information they need in order to give you that advice means doing some of that postmortem and rehashing that you so painfully, like, that you left behind just a few days ago. So all this seems like this exercise in self-flagellation and punishment, right? And presumably we're not masochists here. So that's not something you're running towards doing, right? It feels like you're required to deepen your self-humiliation in order to get help. And that's why so many bar takers don't get help. Unfortunately, this leads to you going to the next bar exam and the one after that without any meaningful changes, right? And you only learn through trial and error that, well, this thing that I thought was the matter wasn't really the matter. Or this thing that I thought would help didn't really help, except you don't really know because you never had any concrete information or processes or systems to improve your bar exam performance. You're just kind of shooting in the dark, getting suggestions from people who may know what they're talking about as it applies to them, but may not be, say, trained to help you, or similar sources of advice, blog articles, YouTube videos, right? And so you take these things, you apply them, not being in any real position to do so, right? And if it doesn't pan out, you still don't know why. Was it the advice that you took? Or was it that that advice wasn't even what was needed? It wasn't even what was wrong. And so you have, those questions, and the questions only mount and they grow and they increase, and soon end up with this conflagration of self-doubt that takes away your self-confidence even as you're attempting to take the bar exam. This is a recipe for disaster, my friends. You definitely want to allow yourself the grace of finding out exactly what went wrong so that you can fix it, right? I read this post on Facebook where a woman said, I'm not doing this bar exam anymore for the sake of my mental health. Okay? And it wasn't just the number of attempts that got her here, but undoubtedly it was the way she was attempting it. It was her mental, status, how she went about rehashing the failed bar exams and how she went about preparing for the next one. The mindset, the mental side of bar prep really does make it or break it. And that's why mindset prep is an indispensable part of bar prep. And it doesn't just help you pass the bar, it carries benefits that will give you a better attorney career in the future, right? Because you're taking hold of your mind. So yeah, ask for help, find out what went wrong, and remember that mental side, because this is what turns bar taking from an exhausting journey into, a pleasurable ride, because you get to benefit from each step that you take. Fully embracing the depth of those benefits takes knowing how mindset prep would carry you through, lift you up, push you through the bar exam. But once you take a little bit of time to discover how mindset prep can help you in your bar prep, I have a feeling that you'll be more inclined to consider mindset prep. I put together a simple handbook to help you healthily examine your past bar attempt and to start to feel ready to think about the next bar. I'll link it below. You deserve to get to the other side of this, my friend. You are already an amazing asset to this legal world. You just need the license to match, right? And so I invite you to look below to receive the free handbook that'll help you to examine healthily your past bar exam attempt and be ready to move forward from a holistic and healthy place. When you're ready to think about taking the bar again, I invite you to look at my introductory lecture, Retake Success. It's for the repeat bar taker or even the first-time bar taker who questions whether they can make it through, who struggles with procrastination, or whose fear of the future or fear of failure is making them self-sabotage in other ways. In retake success, you'll experience key components to bar exam confidence building and sabotage elimination, right? That will help you to experience the same sort of high level coaching that my private clients get to experience. In this, you'll also be able to have access to my community where you'll be able to ask questions, feel supported, and regain some clarity around your bar exam. This combination of learning, experiences, and support gets a bar taker mentally and emotionally ready to tackle the bar from a healthy place. So if it's calling you after you download your free guide, go ahead and take a look into acquiring retake success. It will be shown to you on the very next page after you download the guide. So look for your link to the free guide below.